Forget everything you think you know about composting. What if I revealed a surprising, almost magical way to supercharge your soil using an unexpected kitchen item and some leftover produce? Today we're diving deep into a forgotten technique that transforms ordinary tomato scraps into liquid gold for your garden's microbiome. This isn't your grandmother's composting method, it's something far more powerful and surprisingly simple. Every time you slice a tomato for that perfect summer sandwich or harvest the last fruits of the season, you're holding untapped potential in your hands. Those scraps, seeds, and even slightly overripe tomatoes that might otherwise find their way to your compost bin contain a treasure trove of nutrients and organic compounds that can revolutionize your soil's health. But here's where most gardeners miss the mark. Traditional composting, while beneficial, often fails to maximize the incredible potential locked within these kitchen scraps. The magic lies not in what we typically do with organic waste, but in how we can harness the power of controlled fermentation to create a living, breathing soil amendment that actually feeds the invisible world beneath our feet. While conventional composting breaks down materials through aerobic decomposition, our vinegar fermentation technique creates an entirely different environment that cultivates specific beneficial microorganisms while extracting water-soluble nutrients that plants can immediately access. This process isn't just about waste reduction, it's about understanding that your kitchen scraps are actually raw materials for creating some of the most effective soil amendments available. The fermentation process we're about to explore transforms ordinary tomato waste into a concentrated liquid fertilizer teeming with beneficial bacteria, enzymes, and nutrients that your soil's microbiome craves. Creating your own fermented tomato solution requires nothing more than materials you likely already have in your kitchen. Start by collecting your tomato scraps. This includes cores, seeds, slightly overripe fruits, and even the green parts you typically discard. The key is using fresh materials rather than anything that's already begun to rot or develop mold. Chop these scraps into smaller pieces to increase the surface area available for fermentation, but don't worry about being precise. Rustic chunks work perfectly fine. The secret ingredient that transforms this simple waste into a soil superfood is ordinary household vinegar. The acetic acid in vinegar creates the perfect acidic environment that encourages beneficial lactic acid bacteria to flourish while inhibiting harmful pathogens. You'll want to use a ratio of roughly 2 parts tomato scraps to 1 part vinegar, though this doesn't need to be exact. Place your chopped tomato materials in a clean glass jar, cover them with vinegar, and add a pinch of unrefined sea salt or rock salt to provide trace minerals that support the fermentation process. Cover your jar with a loose lid or cloth secured with a rubber band. You want to allow gases to escape while preventing contamination. Place this mixture in a cool, dark location, like a pantry or basement where temperatures remain relatively stable. Over the next 7 to 14 days, you'll witness an incredible transformation. The mixture will begin to bubble slightly as beneficial microorganisms multiply, the color will deepen, and you'll notice a pleasant, tangy aroma developing. This isn't the sharp smell of vinegar alone, but a complex, almost wine-like fragrance that indicates successful fermentation. Once your fermentation is complete, strain the liquid through a fine mesh or cheesecloth, and you'll have created what I like to call microbial rocket fuel for your garden. This amber-colored liquid is packed with beneficial bacteria, enzymes, and water-soluble nutrients that act as a superfood for the countless microorganisms living in your soil. Unlike synthetic fertilizers that can actually harm soil biology, this fermented solution enhances and multiplies the beneficial microbial communities that are essential for plant health. When you apply this fermented tomato solution to your soil, you're actually introducing millions of beneficial microorganisms that immediately begin working to improve nutrient cycling, enhance root development, and create stronger plant immune systems. The lactic acid bacteria produced during fermentation are particularly valuable because they help break down organic matter, making nutrients more available to plant roots while, at the same time, crowding out harmful pathogens that can cause plant diseases. The results are often visible within just a few days of application. Plants treated with fermented tomato solution typically show increased vigor, deeper green coloration in their leaves, and improved resistance to environmental stresses like drought or temperature fluctuations. Root systems become more robust and extensive, allowing plants to access water and nutrients way more efficiently. And perhaps most importantly, this treatment helps create the kind of living soil ecosystem that becomes self-sustaining over time, reducing your dependence on external inputs while improving your garden's overall resilience. To apply your fermented solution, you'll want to dilute it at a ratio of 1 part fermented liquid to 10 parts water. This concentrated mixture is pretty potent, and honestly, dilution ensures you don't overwhelm your plants or soil. Apply this solution directly to the soil around your plants, rather than spraying it on the leaves, since the goal is really to feed the soil microbiome, not the plant directly. Once you've mastered tomato fermentation, a whole world of possibilities opens up. Kitchen scraps that many gardeners overlook can actually be transformed using similar techniques to create specialized soil amendments tailored to specific garden needs. Fruit peels from apples, pears, and citrus fruits can be fermented to create solutions rich in different enzyme profiles and mineral combinations. And vegetable scraps like carrot tops, beet greens, and even onion skins each contribute unique nutritional profiles when fermented properly. The beauty of this system really lies in its adaptability. If you're growing heavy-feeding crops like tomatoes, peppers, or squash, you can create more concentrated fermented solutions using a higher ratio of organic matter to vinegar. For delicate plants or seedlings, lighter fermentations with more dilute applications work wonderfully. You can even combine different vegetable scraps in single fermentation batches to create complex, multi-nutrient soil amendments that mirror the diversity of nutrients found in natural forest soils. Consider creating seasonal fermentation batches that align with your garden's changing needs. Spring fermentations might focus on nitrogen-rich green materials to support rapid plant growth, while fall fermentations could emphasize phosphorus and potassium-rich materials to help plants prepare for winter and develop strong root systems. This approach allows you to work with nature's rhythms while making the most of whatever kitchen scraps are available during different times of year. Advanced practitioners often maintain multiple fermentation jars with different ingredients, creating a library of specialized soil amendments. Some gardeners develop signature blends based on years of experimentation, combining specific ratios of different fermented materials to address particular soil deficiencies or plant requirements in their unique growing environments. This simple fermentation technique represents a fundamental shift in how we think about garden fertility and soil health. Rather than viewing kitchen scraps as waste to be disposed of, we begin to see them as valuable raw materials for creating some of the most effective soil amendments available. The process costs virtually nothing, requires no special equipment, and produces results that often exceed those of expensive commercial soil treatments. What makes this approach truly revolutionary is its sustainability and regenerative nature. Each batch of fermented solution you create not only improves your current garden's health, but also builds long-term soil fertility that will benefit your plants for years to come. The beneficial microorganisms introduced through regular applications establish permanent colonies in your soil, creating a living system that continues working even when you're not actively gardening. The simplicity of this process means there's no excuse not to try it. Whether you're a beginning gardener working with your first few containers or an experienced grower managing acres of production, fermented tomato solution can become a cornerstone of your soil fertility program. The technique scales beautifully. Apartment dwellers can create small batches for houseplants and container gardens, while rural gardeners can produce gallons of fermented amendments for extensive growing operations. Start your first batch this week using tomato scraps from tonight's dinner. Document the process, observe the changes in your plants, and prepare to be amazed by the transformation in your garden's vitality. Your soil's invisible ecosystem is waiting to be supercharged, and you now have the knowledge to make it happen. Ready to revolutionize your garden's health with this game-changing fermentation technique? Don't forget to subscribe to the Living Soil Lab for more innovative, sustainable gardening methods that work with nature's wisdom rather than against it. Share this guide with fellow gardeners who are ready to discover the incredible potential hiding in their kitchen scraps, and join our growing community of soil stewards who understand that healthy soil is the foundation of abundant, resilient gardens.